What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday, happy Friday Eve, and welcome to episode 32 of the Assets Over Money podcast. Kevo, how we doing, man?
Hey man, blessed to be here, bro. Feel like I need to lose some weight after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got hit the gym.
I know, right? The gym hit me.
Yeah, the turkey hit you. Turkey, the pies,
Yeah.
all that.
Hey,
Yeah,
we still eating ham sandwiches, bro. Ham
there you go.
sandwiches.
I mean, that's the point, man. You know, you get them leftovers, supposed to eat them for at least like the next like 4 or 5 days.
Hey, got
Yeah,
to, bro. Got
yeah.
to. How's everything on your end, man?
Everything's smooth, man. We went down home like VA, Virginia,
Yeah.
and we came back on a like the Saturday after Thanksgiving, thinking that everybody was gonna get on the road on Sunday. But man, we as soon as we hit 95, bro, we got stuck. A 5 hour drive turned into an 8 hour drive. So
Jesus. What was
traffic.
it? It snowing or what?
Oh no, just traffic.
Jeez.
A lot of traffic everywhere. So, but it is what it is. Nothing I
Yeah,
could
man.
have done to prevent it and stuff. Maybe go a different route, but my son had like a blowout and everything, so it was good we went the route that we did because the other route don't have a lot of rest stops. So
Bruh,
yeah,
I'm so thankful to be over the blowout stage, cuz
yeah,
that's like the worst thing ever. You hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Do you
It
do you throw his clothes away, or do you try to recycle the clothes?
we try to if it's salvageable, we will, man. It was salvageable, so we washed it like I think washed it like twice or whatever in a wash.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
new, man. Hey, good to go. We're
yeah,
gonna
bro.
pass it over next time we have another kid. It's gonna be a hand me down to the other kid. He ain't even gonna know. Right? Like, yeah, your older
Nah.
brother put in these a long time ago, a couple years ago. Now you wearing them. Yeah.
Hey, so you trying to go for another one?
Eventually, yeah. We want like between 3 to 5 kids. So
Jesus. Hey, I commend anybody with more than one kid, bro. I commend you. Because hey,
you
one
just
kid is enough for
yeah,
me.
you just got the one.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm big on the kid. I love kids, man, and I think it's like I don't know if I can and I had the ability to have more. It was like, hey, why not continue to Hanson name and repopulate the earth? Not
I
like
heard
on the
that.
Nick Cannon stuff or nothing like that, but just I have my 3 to 5, and that'd be it, man.
Hey, I hope you ain't another Nick Cannon, yo. That mug is out there wilding right now.
He's actually repopulating the earth.
Pretty much, actually, yo.
Actually,
You know what
actually, yeah.
I'm saying?
But yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But anywho, man, I guess really jumping into today, it's an important topic, man. Raising private capital. It is something that I think is often talked about, but with that, it's often overlooked as well too. A lot of people talk the piece of when it in regards to real estate is investing, how to invest, how to look for deals, how to analyze deals, all of that. But once you do that, is how are you going to pay for it when it's time for you to actually put money to the table, get some contractors together to actually do a deal. So,
That's it.
not jumping into it too deep, but there are a couple different ways, right? Like number one, obviously, you can just raise the money in general, right? Or just how to fund deals in general. You could always go the conventional route, going through a bank or things of that nature. When we say private capital, this means that we are going through somebody that is not uh, a institution, right? Not an institution, not somebody who is, I go to the bank and I want to request a loan. This is you going to a person. It could be a person, could be a group of people. It's as simple as that. But yeah,
That's
I
it.
guess the way I have it broken down before I kind of dive into some of the topics I wanted to hit on, man. I mean, did you have anything that you wanted to, I guess, preface with before we jump in?
Man, I mean, raising capital is a skill, and it's kind of an art too, man. You know what I mean? Being able to connect with private investors, just having a good offer, you know what I mean? And how you're going to structure the deal. And, I would think that would be the biggest thing, but I'm excited about this topic tonight, man. So hey, let's jump into it.
Yeah. So first topic is, or really first question is, where to find private lenders who align with your vision or align with you. And the reason, and I'll just kind of jump into that. The reason we said that, right, align with your vision, added that piece in, is not all money, is good money. And I don't mean that to say that it's like dirty money and people, doing the various things to get their money. I mean in the sense of like, this is something that Pace Morby often says is private lenders make the mistake of always thinking that their money is more important than the deal. And what does that mean?
Right.
the deal is the most important thing. The deal is an opportunity that you are providing to the person, right? So never forget that the deal is the most important thing, and making sure that goes through, making sure everything's squared away in that regard. The private money piece, while very important because you want to square away, make sure that you're squaring away people's money and always paying back your investors and paying them on time and things of that nature. The deal is the most important thing. But simply put, as far as it goes, is finding private lenders. I can tell you a real life story, brothers and sisters out there. It is easy. It is a lot easier than you think. It can be from posting something on Facebook, and connecting with somebody on Facebook to literally, here's my story. I had a deal I was working on, and needed some money for it, and I knew I was going to be needing some money here in the next couple months or whatever. Literally went to New York City. I went to a networking event. It was literally for entrepreneurs networking. Connected with the guy who I guess owned the networking, the networking event, and then he became a lender on one of my deals. One interaction there, met in person, and then talked maybe 2 to 3 times on the phone. Outside of that, he said, "Hey, Rich, next time you have a deal, let me know, and I got some money I'd love to invest in you." Right. So with that, people are investing into you. They get to know you as a person. They get to know the opportunity that you're presented, obviously, but they're investing into you as a person. More so than I would say even the deal. But yeah, as far as finding places and how to find places, it's relatively simple. A lot of people overcomplicate it. There's people who have money laying around, everywhere, from folks who are working in construction to lawyers and doctors and things of that nature. People have money, and a lot of people, a lot more often than you think, people have money and want to get into real estate but don't want to do any of the work. And places that I've seen and found lenders would be networking events. And it could be any networking event. It doesn't have to be real estate specific. It could be a networking event, say for like, you know, doctors and lawyers or what have you. You just go there, talk to people, find out what they do, show a genuine interest in what they do, and people will tell you about the things they're interested in, what they're looking for. Another place is literally family. Family have a lot. Some people in family have money, and I look at it like this is like, before I get this out to the masses, a lot of time I like to go talk to my family and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking for. This is the returns that you guys will get. If you're interested, let me know. And if not, is what it is, which can go kind of twofold. But yeah, Kevin, I'll turn it over to you on this, man. Where are some of the places that you're finding some of your lenders?
Man, I'll tell you, man. I mean, like, having a set of private lenders is always a good thing to have. Like you said, it comes from relationships building. And, at the end of the day, you can start at RIA meetings, your local RIA meetings, because it's a ton of people there. I mean, I go to a couple of RIA meets here in Charlotte, but, you're always looking at people that, just like you said, they are wanting to lend money and wanting to get into the real estate game, but just don't have the time, right? So, you think about busy professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, people who work, 60, 70 hours a week and have money laying around, but don't know how to invest it, right? So being able to create those relationships and create those opportunities by understanding what they do and how they want to lend and what they're trying to get back, it's always just a relationship thing. When people say real estate is about relationships, this is why, right? Because I mean, if you have a deal on the line and you can make money from it, I mean, you can easily go to someone and be like, hey, I have this and this is what we can make and this is what I'm willing to split with you, right? So I mean, even if just like your guy, that you met at the networking conference, I mean, having someone that you can go to is, it's important when you're dealing with real estate, especially when you're first starting out, because a lot of times when you're first starting out, you don't have a lot of money. So being able to go to someone and say, hey, I have this deal, I have the knowledge and the know-how to how to flip it. I know the market, and if you bring the money, I'll do the work and we'll split it 60-40, if not 50-50, right? Because I always learned a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. so so being able to connect with people and being able to bring deals to the table is, it's imperative. So I mean, if you're looking to get in this real estate game and you're nervous about not having the money, go find the deal. You know what I mean? And if you have the deal, just like we just talked about, the deal is the most important factor, because the money is going to be there. But if you have a deal that you can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the deal. You can make money on, go find the de being able to go out and shop the deal to private lenders or folks that are in your circle. That's how you do it. I mean, I just helped a guy pull out 100,000 out of his equity in the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean? He didn't even know he could do that, right? But at the end of the day, I gave him the knowledge and the know-how how to structure it, how to go to his bank, pull out a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, and now he's ready to go invest his money. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's about being able to educate someone and school them on how it can make it work, but not only that, but just bringing the deal to the table. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And added to that, man, is like most of the folks that you guys see out here, you think about your favorite real estate investor or somebody you know who's doing big things in real estate, they're not using their own money for their deals. They're
Right.
literally using OPM, other people's money, for everything that they do. Because, when you're investing your own funds into it, there's different, risk rewards factors involved in that. But it's like your money, you can use your money for different opportunities. Like, why use your own money for these opportunities when you could use it for something else and you could use somebody else's money for it, right? You could be building up your own nest egg for something else as opposed to putting all your money into one basket, and doing stuff like that, right? And while you were talking, brother, I had to go find my networking site that I use to look up local events and things. It's called Eventbrite. I think everybody's kind of heard of it. I forgot the name, but I'll post it here. Literally, you guys go to this website here. Let's see, make show it. There we go. You guys go to this website here, and you can look up networking events in your area. It can be real estate events. It could be entrepreneurial events. It could be a tech meetup, a meetup for doctors and things of that nature. Local events in your area, get out there and get to know people, because as with most things in life, and I would say real estate falls into the same category, it's not about, what you know, which what you know matters, but who you know is almost the most important thing. And like I bring it down into simplest terms. I don't have a boat. I love to fish. I'll tell you the next best thing to owning a boat, and what somebody argues even better, is knowing somebody with a boat that I can go and use their boat. I ain't got to do none of the maintenance on the boat. I ain't got to gas or nothing. I just show up and hop on the boat and go fishing. But it's not my
That's
boat;
it.
it's their boat. You know what I mean?
That's
Um,
it.
I'll leave that at that. And I guess really the next topic here I want to jump about is how to build trust and credibility without a track record. Kevin, you want to hit this first, and then I'll jump in.
I mean, build it. It's tough when you have to build trust without having a track record, right? That means that you have to really fine tune a relationship. Somebody's gonna have to really like you to put money on a deal that you're doing and you've never done it before, right? That means that they really trust you or they really have confidence in you. So you have to be able to bridge that with a good relationship, right? Because when I first started out, I know, we had a business plan. We put a business plan together. And the first person who gave me some cash was a guy that went to my church. And he gave us $30,000, right? We gave him, I think we paid him 12% interest. And he was a retiree from FedEx, right? So he was probably, in his retirement, he was probably getting 7 to 8% returns on his money, right? I came to him with a 12% offer. And, I let him, I had been in the real estate game as a realtor and a broker for, since 2006. I think this was right 2017, maybe, when we first started flipping houses. And, I had the plan already ready together, put together. And he kind of, the relationship was how we got it across the board, right? Because he liked who I was, he liked the business plan, and he liked the model. So at the end of the day, I had never flipped a house before. I had bought a house before, but I had never flipped one or built one. So, he kind of came to the table with the money, and, I came to the table with the lender, the know-how, and the deal, and he trusted us with that. So I would say, bridging that gap, if you don't have a track record, would be to really fine tune your relationships and find people who are a lot like you, and show them what you're planning to do. And if they like it, they like it. If not, then you go to the next person. But at the end of the day, it's about that relationship piece.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, shoot, I'll break it down even simpler, man. Is who not how, right? So like I look at, if I don't have any type of track record, I focus on what my strengths are. So if my strength is in finding deals, I'll go out there and make it happen. Say I'm good on the phones, right? I'll go out there, put a deal together, and be like, these numbers all check out. Let me go ahead and put it under contract. I'm going to go to, if I have nobody that I know that I can go to try to raise private money for this deal, the first person that I'm going to is an investor in that area that I have seen that has some credibility, that has basis, somebody that I know who has done deals, or somebody that I've seen around has done deals, and say, hey, brother, I have this deal. Will you partner with me and help me find a lender? Because you may not have that experience in connecting with people and finding those lenders, but I guarantee you this investor who's been around in your area or the area that you're invested in for the last 10 plus years, 15 plus years, or even shorter or longer, right? Somebody who's done numerous deals in that area, I guarantee you that they have lenders on a Rolodex that are asking them, hey, when's your next deal showing up? And it's almost better to partner with somebody. That's the easiest way to do it. A lot of times I think people fail to realize is they want to take everything for themselves in the beginning. And it's very easy to have that type of mindset when you're jumping in. You're like, I'm going to stay up. I did X, Y, Z. I'm the one to put all this together. Again, put your ego to the side. The deal is the most important thing. Get it across the finish table, then across the finish line, or across the closing table is the most important thing, because once you get it across the closing table, that is now a deal that you've been a part of. And you repeat that process 2 to 3 times with other people. You're not saying, hey, I did this deal with somebody else. It's like, yes, these are deals that I have under my belt. These are deals that you have under your belt. If you are a partner on a deal, that is a deal that you have under your belt. And you can kind of build your own, trying to think of the best way to, a credibility packet that shows deals that you have done yourself. And what a credibility packet is literally just deals that you've done, returns that, you've given other lenders, or, profits and things like that that you've made, and, showing that and say, hey, I've done 3 deals right now, and these are the people who lent on the deals, and this is the kind of returns that they got. You show that to a few people when they ask you, like, oh, how do I know? You've only been doing real estate for the last, year, or the last 6 months or whatever. Well, I've done, X amount of deals in the last 6 months, and these are the returns that I've been getting people on it. That shows credibility. So you talk about not having credibility in the beginning, connect with somebody who has credibility. And a good book to read on that, just change your mindset. It's called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Great book. You guys have probably heard of it. Popular book. But always focus on the who, not necessarily the how. If you hit a problem and it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse, who is somebody that can help me with this problem? Not saying I need to figure out how to make this problem. I'll figure out this problem myself. I think whenever you look at stuff and say I need to figure this out myself, is kind of a selfish approach to a lot of things, because it's selfish, but it just makes it harder for you. It's like, why do you need to figure out when the answer's already out there? You don't need to go reinvent the wheel when the answer's already out there. Go to somebody who has experience.
That's it, man. That's it, man. You got to leverage your contacts, man. You know what I mean? Being able to leverage your relationships and, team up with someone. Like I said, hey, a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my motto, you know what I mean? Especially when I was starting out. I mean, even in the multifamily now, like, hey, I'll start at the bottom just to be able to get my foot in the door. Once your foot in the door, you can kind of expand yourself and do the things that you want to do. But, at the end of the day, to get started, it could be challenging because, you feel like you may not know anyone. But being able to put yourself out there, bring the deal to the table, whatever your strength is. You know what I mean? If you can bring the deal to the table, bring the lender to the table, as far as the lender that's going to give you the most money, right? Because I remember I had hard money lenders on tap too, right? So like hard money lender might give me 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the construction costs. Average person is not going to know about that hard money lender, right? But if I bring the deal and the hard money lender to the table, let them know like, hey, this is my financing. This is how we're going to get the deal done. Kind of just going through the whole scenario, you can get it done. I mean, it's easier than what people think. So for all you folks out there listening, that may be frustrated right now trying to find an investor to come to the table with you, bring the deal to the table. Bring all the other variables to the table, but the money you need to get it over the finish line. And then that's when you get the investor on board. And, if it makes sense to them, well, likely they're going to want to put their money in.
Yeah, man. And shoot, with that, man, it's like, again, about who you know, not necessarily, what you know. When I first was getting started, after about a year in, me doing stuff on my own, I was like, man, I need to connect with people. I need to partner with folks. And I was being vocal about that. One of my buddies from college connected me with one of his buddies who was doing, real estate, a group of guys who were doing real estate. Their struggle was acquisitions. Acquisitions is my strength. So what did? We all partnered up. and they were good
Yeah.
at their own things. Like I'm good at the acquisitions. One of them was good at like managing the contractors, the attorneys. The other one was good at like all the operation stuff. And I was like, I could focus on my wheelhouse. And the beautiful thing about it is one of those partners, when it came to private money for our first few deals, we would literally, his dad was like this big time lawyer out in the Midwest. And we would go to his dad, present him the deal, pitch him the numbers and things like that. And he'd be like, yay or no. And he would cover, I'm not even joking, up to like 100% of the deal. So again,
Yeah.
I guess you are one connection away from having everything that you need. And I think a piece of that is just being vocal about what you're doing, what you're looking for to happen. A lot of things I know it's kind of popular in the pop culture is like, grind in silence, grind this, grind that. We live in the 21st century, man. Like if you are out posting content, showing what you're doing and things of that nature, people will be curious and people will want to know what you're doing. And people will, that's all also how you build credibility. LinkedIn is very important. But a lot of folks, I talk to folks is like you follow them on Facebook, you follow them on Instagram, and they see you have a professional Instagram or professional Facebook. They're going to take you serious. But just for the sake of time, jumping into the next topic here. Next thing to say, next topic is what to say and what not to say when you are asking for capital. And I'll start off with this one, man, because I think with that, you can go about it anyway. I'm not going to say there's no wrong way to. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's a right and a wrong way to ask for capital, even though I kind of believe that. I think there are ways that are better than others. I'll start with, in my eyes, something I would not do is if I need money for a deal, I'm not going to hit up a family member I haven't talked to in months and say, hey, I got this deal going on. I know you got a lot of money sitting around in your retirement. Like, can you help me fund this? You know what I mean? That's just not, you don't want to be coming out to somebody with a handout. I think it's best to, when you're talking and connecting with people, and I think it's very important. This is something I need to do a better job of myself. It's just constantly connecting with people, constantly connecting with people that I've met in the past, constantly connecting with people and checking in on people that I know currently, people that I've met last week, just sending out text messages, things of that nature every morning and say, I appreciate you. I remember I met you out, a few weeks ago, blah, 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 blah. And just keeping a list of contacts and understanding, one or two important facts about those people and reaching out to them. So when you do reach out to them and say, hey, I know you had mentioned the last time we spoke that you were looking to get into real estate and you were looking for opportunities with this. I actually had something come across my desk. Do you happen to know anybody who may be interested in this? Like, I wouldn't necessarily just be like, hey, you said this, you want to do this. You can do that approach. I think what has worked for me in the past is just, do you happen to know anybody who may be interested in this? And that works twofold. You're not putting all the pressure on them to say, oh, I'm interested in this. Because if they are, they'll say, oh, I am interested in this. And if they're not, they're just like, you know what, I may know somebody or I don't know somebody. That's one approach. Another approach is, say, if you go out and meet somebody at a networking event, I don't think it is in my humble opinion, and people go back and forth on this, I don't think it's a good idea to just bring everything to a networking event to show it, unless it is a networking event specifically for you to present stuff, for people to present stuff. But if I'm going out meeting people, I just go out and I show a genuine interest in what folks are doing. I ask them, hey, like, what do you work on? What do you focus on when I'm at these networking events? Tell me about you. What are you looking for? A question that I like to ask is, what are some bottlenecks, that you have currently going on? If I'm at like an entrepreneurial thing, what are some bottlenecks that you have going on in your, your company or your business right now? And they'll tell you. It's like, oh, where do you want to be? Things of that nature. But showing a genuine interest in what people do, take note of it, and just continue to ask how they're doing and show a genuine interest in it. Don't be fake, but like truly be interested in what folks are saying, because with that is the way conversation works is eventually they're going to be asking you questions, and you have to be prepared to answer those as well too. So not saying, oh, I'm working on this or I'm doing this and this, but yeah, no, I'm a real estate investor. I do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. If they're interested about it, it's like, oh, tell me more. What all are you working on? I'm working on this. Oh, what are some of your bottlenecks? Or here's some of the things I'm struggling with right now is I actually have a deal and I'm trying to find some, find folks that want to, want like 12% returns or looking for some solid returns on their, on that investment, and that's just a good segue into those. But I think I'll shut up for now because I could keep going, brother. And kind of really just turn it over to you, man. I mean, you've seen it, do's and don'ts.
Nah, man. I mean, you're exactly right. Right. I mean, because you don't want to bring anything to someone that you haven't talked to or you haven't built a relationship with. right? So, it's again, it goes back to that relationship piece, right? So understanding what someone's looking for and what they're wanting, being able to get out here and put yourself out there, right? I know a lot of people don't like putting themselves out there, and they feel like they're asking for money when really it's not asking for money. You're bringing someone an opportunity, right? Some folks get caught up in, hey, well, I don't feel like begging for money, or I don't want to ask someone for money. When you're not asking someone, you're not begging. You're basically bringing an opportunity to them to make money. You know what I mean? So it's almost like a brain shift type of thing, because some people that's not used to talking to people about money or investing is going to be more nervous. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're gonna feel like, hey, I don't want to ask someone for money, because some people don't like asking people for money. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're not asking, you're bringing them an opportunity. So you have to kind of change your mind shift in how you think about it. But
Yeah.
building that relationship and being able to understand the deal and knowing that people are going to ask you questions too, but just bridging the gap with your relationship, finding out what someone likes and what they don't like, and if they're even investing, right? Because some people might not even be investing. They just might just like to sit on their money and work 70 hours a week. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's about getting out there, meeting people, being able to, put yourself out there, because if you don't, then you're going to be more than likely not making any deals, or, not making any money off your deals, because you can find deals all day, but if you don't have money to close them, then, it's worthless.
Yeah, and I think, well, I want to go back to one of the things you were talking about there is it's actually the next topic too, man. Is we talked about people often, I don't want to ask for money, I don't want to beg for money, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. The difference between like begging for money and presenting an opportunity is really, I think, just a shift in your mindset and how you look at it. Like a hot topic, I'd say, is a lot of people don't like going to family for um, money when it comes to investments and things like that. In my head, I'm the exact opposite because I'm like, I'm really big on uplifting my folks, my people I consider the closest to me. If I have an opportunity that could potentially give somebody solid returns or more returns than they're making in their retirement, or give them solid like money, they're the first people I'm going to go to, man. Something like, look, like, we can keep this money in the family, or hey, you've always been good to me, and blah blah. This like, here's an opportunity for you that we're working on. It's not I'm not sitting here asking, hey, I need this. Hey, brother, let me borrow $5 or whatever. This is like, man, this is you getting like, this is an opportunity for you to make more money for your money. If you're in it,
Right.
like, then jump in. But if you're not, then that's okay. I'll just go meet somebody else or talk to somebody else who does value this opportunity. So I don't know, man. That's just kind of how like I look at it, because it's I've heard a lot of things. Like if you have a like, because some folks have different different families and things like that, to where it may become an issue and whatnot. But I look at it, man. If you have a solid family, people who are supportive of what you're doing and know what you're doing and supportive of it, and like y'all are pretty close, have a good relationship, those are the first people I'm going to. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, and on the flip side, and not to just to play, devil's advocate, is the question is, like, well, what if you lose their money? I will say that's, yes, that's always a risk, but that's a risk you have when it comes to investing. And I know, like, anybody's money that I get, just the kind of person I am, and I could even just the kind of person you are, and I think, people who are doing this on a larger scale and doing it well, they truly care about, like, they're not just out here like blowing smoke. They could be, some folks you definitely vet, who you're investing in, things of that nature. But most folks have a genuine care for other people's money. They're not trying to take their money and throwing it into like random risky investments, number one, without like disclosing that to the person that's investing. If you disclose it and be like, hey, the returns on this are relatively high because this is riskier, and here's the risk, here's the estimated timeline, and here's how we're mitigating the risk, and here's the money why we ask for this money to account for XYZ and blah 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 blah. If you run all the numbers and you factor in like a what if fund, like or I'll say, I don't know if you can cuss on YouTube or not, so I'll call it a oh shoot fund. So if something pops up, say it's the foundation or the roof or whatever, mold or what have you, that you can't necessarily see, then in most cases folks are good. And if you're not, like, I mean, again, it is an investment, and people do need to realize that it is an investment. A lot of time people get really I guess fed up. It's like, oh man, I lost all these, I lost all this money, or I didn't do this. It's like, yes, that sucks, and you can rebound. People lose money every day. People lose money in the stock market all the time, and it's very unpredictable. At least you're doing something to where you have more on the real estate side. You have more control on what you're doing. Um,
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
but that's a risk though, right? I
yeah,
mean,
it is.
everything comes with a risk. I mean, you could easily lose money, man. You know what I mean? And that's what your investors have to realize. I mean, no matter how much money they put into it, you know what I mean? You could lose money. It's a possibility we can lose and not come up with anything. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're doing everything you can to not make it lose. That's why your deal and your structure and your strategy has to be on point, right? If you understand what you're doing and how you're going to do it, then more than likely you have an exit plan, even if things don't go right. You know what I mean? If the property doesn't sell for what it's supposed to sell for, maybe you can refinance it, pulls the cash out of it. You know what I'm saying? Still make your payments to your investors. At the end of the day, your plan has to be on point. And even sometimes plans fail. You got to know that plans fail sometimes, but you still have to have a backup plan and an exit strategy in play so you can make the best of it, even if the plan doesn't go the way you would like it to. You still have to have that plan to say, hey, well, this is how we're going to rebound. Because most successful people that we know and that's doing business right now, they failed and they've lost money many times. You know what I mean? And that didn't stop them. What they did was, I always thought to myself, I heard this one saying is that when you're in corporate America and you make mistakes, you get fired. But when you're an entrepreneur and you're doing things on your own, when you lose or you make a mistake, you get better, right? Because you're learning from that mistake. And so, folks have to realize that. I mean, it's a good possibility that you're going to lose or you're going to make a mistake, and that may cost some money. But you have to be willing to take on that risk and be willing to get better if you do lose.
Yeah. Just being in with that too, for those who end up doodling the money, transparency, be fully transparent with your investors, man, because people, again, yes, they're invested in the deal, but more often than not, they're investing, especially in the beginning. Like I'm not talking about folks investing in a big fund for, like a big old, buying like a, crazy big multifamily deal, what have you. When you're first starting out and and people are getting to know you, you're pitching your deals and whatnot, a lot of times they're investing in you as a person. You have shown something or built that credibility, built that trust with them, or built that relationship with them to where they trust and believe in you. So, like, I've seen folks and I've sat down with folks who have lent like big money. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars on deals before. And they said, yeah, like, with this person, I lost 30, 40K or 50K, or I lost all the money that I gave them, but I would invest in them again because they were 100% transparent with me throughout the way. When things were going well, they were transparent and they communicated. When things weren't going well, they were transparent and communicated. And that goes a long way. And they were like, hey, things aren't going as well. This is what's going on. This is what we're trying to do to mitigate that loss. This, and this. They were transparent. So being transparent through it all, whether good, bad, ugly, or whatever, it's just better to be transparent on it, because at the end of the day, people will still have that respect for you. They still gonna be, frustrated if you lose money. If somebody ain't gonna be, a lot of times they're not gonna be happy, but they will have that respect for you that you were honest. Because you'll see a lot of
Right.
folks, a lot of bad characters who just don't say anything or like disappear, or like I've seen a lot in some of the groups that I'm in, to where people, this person owes me money, or we were supposed to be partners on the deal. And when I brought the money, I sent it to this account and blah, blah, this. And it went, I haven't seen anything since, or I haven't gotten an update, or yada, 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 whatever. So just being honest and transparent, man. But yeah, man, I guess a good transition, bro, is I know you right now are actively, I know, raising money for a deal, man, for that, that multifamily we had. Oh, that you were working on, that Miles came and spoke about, with the guest Miles
Yep.
we had a couple weeks back, man. So I guess to be real, like talk to us, how has that been going for you? How are you, raising money? And yeah, I think everybody loves to hear, because I mean you're doing it real time.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, it's going right. I mean, this is my first major multifamily deal. So being able to connect with people, it's a little bit slower than residential, of course. But what I'm doing, I'm really focusing in on LinkedIn right now. I'm really pushing my LinkedIn profile and being able to partner with Excite, right? Because Excite, like I said, they got 243 million under management right now. So they have the background, whereas I don't, right? But at the end of the day, I'm partnering with them, just like you said before, right? Being able to partner with someone that's already done it to kind of bring that to the table And so it goes a long way. So right now we are raising about 750,000. I'm a little bit shy of that right now, but
Yeah.
we're working on it. But what I'm doing right now is just holding webinars and inviting people to the webinars, talking about how we can lower their taxes by 45%. You know what I mean? So you think about doctors and lawyers and engineers, people, like I said, who may work 50, 60 hours a week and who don't have the time, right? But see, all of those people have the same problem. And if you know what that problem is, it's their tax liability, right? Because in America, if you're getting a paycheck, the higher your salary goes, the higher your tax rate is going to go, right? So in this deal right here, it's 188 units in Covington, Georgia. We're helping people drop their tax liability by 45%. So for every 100,000 that you invest with us, your tax liability is going to come down 45%. And that comes from, and the big, beautiful bill that was just passed, right? And I'm not a big, president fan right now, but at the end of the day, the bill that he just created allowed real estate investors to take full 100% full take. Basically, you could take your tax liability from cost segregation and bonus depreciation the first year. You don't have to wait down the road to get that depreciation or to get those tax benefits. You can get 100% of that right now. So, I'm not a big advocate of this administration, but one thing that they did do in this big, beautiful bill was give real estate investors the opportunity to get back all their money through tax liability, through cost segregation and bonus depreciation. And that's kind of a window how a lot of people like doctors and lawyers and engineers, they make great money, right? I mean, they can, you think about somebody who's making 900,000 a year, they're getting a paycheck. Say a doctor or a surgeon, he's getting taxed about 40%, 40 to 45%, right? So if I can help them bring down their tax liability, not only are they getting cash flow every single month, but they're getting more money in their paycheck because now they're limited owners in the deal with us on the multifamily side, right? So they're getting paid in multiple different ways. They're getting paid on the cash flow that they're going to get from the renters paying their rent every month. They're going to get the tax deductions, you know what I mean, in their paycheck, and they're going to get, a big check at the end when we go to sell the property in 3 to 5 years. So they're getting paid in three separate ways. And so that's what makes it, a great opportunity because we're going to almost 2x your money. So if you're bringing in 100,000, you're more than likely going to walk away with almost close to 200,000. So I think the multiple here is about 1.86. It's not 2%, and that's on the conservative side. But our job is to be able to go in, update the property, increase the rents within that 3 to 5 year window. And with that, what happens is the more income that we bring to that building, the higher the value goes. And so at the end of the day, it's just a good opportunity for people who are passively looking to invest and bring in extra cash flow. They're getting more money in their paycheck, and they're going to get a lump sum when we go to sell the property. And so that's what makes it a good opportunity, being able to go and target these people who don't have the time but have the money. And it's a 506c offering. So what that means is that it's for people that make over 200,000 single wise or 300,000, jointly with their spouse. So at the end of the day, it's always a good idea, to be able to focus on folks that are, like I said, they're too busy, but they make the money, and they don't have time. So being able to really zoom in on them and get to know them, build relationships. I mean, I'm out at the RIA meetings here in Charlotte, meeting new people, bringing the deal to the table. And, it's about meeting new people, putting the deal out there. Like I said, we got a webinar on Sunday that I'm hosting just to talk about the deal, right? To bring in more folks. So if you're interested out there, if you're thinking about investing it, you make over 200,000 as a single person or 300,000 as a joint, come check us out. I think it'll be a good opportunity for, everybody involved as a limited partner, because that's what we're looking for right now. We're looking for limited partners in this deal. And, most of the time when you're investing in single family, you may not bring the investor on as a owner with you, but in commercial, they're actually owners and they're actually getting tax benefits with it. So that's what makes it a beautiful thing when we're doing multifamily. But I mean, I'm talking to investors just about every day. And it's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, if you have 100,000 and you're just sitting on it, which a lot of folks are, and they don't know what to do with it, this is a good opportunity because it's secure. You know what I mean? The building's not going anywhere. The cash flow is going to be there because Covington, Georgia is growing like crazy, right outside of Atlanta, and it's a good opportunity. But as far as seeking investors, I mean, it's a constant grind, right? Speaking to people, talking to people, what makes the deal special. And another thing that makes this deal special is that we're assuming the interest rate, right? The interest rate is 3.5%. So right now, just like I know, interest rates are not at 3.5%. They're still at probably about 5.5 to 6% right now. And so that's almost double. And so that's going to help propel the cash flow even further, right? So being able to connect with an investor and being able to educate them on the deal and show them exactly how it works, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I appreciate laying that. So I guess with you, right? So I know you mentioned LinkedIn and things like that. How are you like going to RIA meetings? What are some of the ways that you are like connecting with these people? Or like, so I've heard a lot of things. I've literally heard stories of people going to freaking Barnes and Noble, getting a coffee, they end up talking to somebody in line, and they became a lender. So like, it's a lot simpler than I think people think. And again, this is obviously a lot easier, said than done. But with you, actively, in the fight right now, doing that, what are some of the ways that have been working for you as far as connecting with people? Not necessarily saying people are going to lend, but like connecting with people to potentially lend. How is like what are some of the things that you kind of walk us through, like how you're doing it? Like, am I, okay, I'm just connecting with people on LinkedIn. Like, how are you doing that? You know what I mean? Or like, I'm hosting a webinar. How are you getting that webinar out there? Things like that.
So right now, I have almost 2,000 folks that I'm connected with in LinkedIn, right? Not everybody is a real estate investor, but most of them are. If you're on LinkedIn, you're a professional, right? Because that's what LinkedIn is for business professionals and people that are working and doing that thing. So I created an event on LinkedIn and sent it out to all of them, right? I invited everyone. So anyone that could be a busy professional that may be looking to invest their money, and of course, they have to make over 200,000 as a single person and 300 as a married person. That eliminates a lot of people already, right? But at the end of the day, I put it out there on LinkedIn. I created this event, and it's going to be an ongoing event until the 9th of January. So we'll be hosting a webinar every Sunday up until that time, right? So the more people we can connect with, and being able to just basically just educating them on the deal and how it makes sense for them. Because you got to realize, if someone is just sitting on $100,000 in their account, just like I know, they're losing money, right? And so at the end of the day, it makes more sense that you could put your money in a secured deal where you're going to get cash flow. You're going to get tax benefits to lower your tax liability. So you're getting more money in your paycheck, and you're going to get a big check after we sell. So at the end of the day, you're going to get paid heavily. So, if you got a 1.86 multiple, you already know if you put $100,000 in, you're going to get 186,000 back. Not to mention the tax liability write-offs you've gotten for the 5 years and the cash flow that you've made over that 5-year mark. You know what I mean? So like it works, it just works tremendous. And so the 1.86 is just a conservative mark because really, we don't want to over leverage ourselves or tell someone it's a 2.5 when really it could be a 2.5, but we want to be conservative in our approach, under promise and over deliver to a certain extent. And being able to articulate that and educate people, I mean, because that's all it is being able to bring the deal to the table. No different than what we talked about earlier, right? If you bring the deal to the table, we already got the lending in place. Only thing they had to do is bring their money and get paid. You know what I mean? They don't have to do anything else. We've handled everything, every aspect of it, from where we're getting the money from, the lender we're dealing with, and how we're going to get you paid back in the time frame that we're going to get you paid back. Because most investors only want to know how much money you need, when I'm going to get my money back, and how you're going to get my money back. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's, if you can answer those questions, I mean, it's really just putting yourself out there. A lot of folks are scared to do that, but if you understand the deal and the structure and how things operate throughout the process, growing that relationship is kind of the easy part.
Cool.
You see, yep.
Yeah. And I guess with it, so you sent it to around, you got like 2,000 friends. Have you had a few, like a decent amount of people like kind of sign up for it?
Yeah, we got quite a few invites back. So, I'm just looking forward to, going at it on Sunday, doing the same thing we're doing right now, just talking through the deal. And, of course, we have a presentation for it.
Yeah,
And, it's just putting it out there. That's pretty much it.
cool. And are you doing anything outside of the LinkedIn, or is that like the main focus right now?
That's my main focus right now.
Okay.
Of course, my brother coaches at Morehouse, so I've been trying to connect with a lot of basketball coaches that that he knows that are making big money. I mean, because if you think about Coach, one of the coaches that he just worked with at NC State, I mean, he got fired, but they had to pay him 11 million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so
Some of
so
these
folks
payouts
like,
been crazy, man. People going, they're getting paid 11 million to go sit on the couch. It's like, you
yeah,
fired.
man.
Here's your severance. 11 million. I'm like, all right. Yeah,
All
thank you.
right, I'll wait for the next go around,
I'll
right?
see you
You know what I
later.
mean? Yeah. So like, being able to connect with them folks and kind of articulate exactly what we got going on and how we make money for them, because really they're not doing anything but putting their money in,
Yeah.
into an
Mhm.
account. You know what I mean? That's why it's called limited partnership, because they're passively going to make money off of this thing and not have to do anything but collect a check every other month. Well,
Yeah.
it's our payouts are every quarter, so they'll get paid every quarter, and that'll be that. They'll
Yeah.
lower their tax liability, and I mean, you can't beat that. You know what I mean? Because someone that's making big money, and you're getting taxed 45% of that money, and I help you save 45% of your tax liability based on your 100,000. I mean, that's a win-win, if you ask me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay, that's what's up, bro. Yeah, bro. Cool. I appreciate you diving in next. I know. I thought it'd be cool to somebody who's actively doing it right now. Some of the things that work for you and what you're doing. 'Cause I know a lot of people who do a lot of different things. There are people who literally like their role in real estate are literally called capital raisers because they're really good at raising capital and helping people put money together. I heard, shoot, man, there's somebody that I met at an event who literally raised money at a supermarket. Walked into somebody. She went to a crypto like networking event, and everybody was talking crypto, and she was there at the networking event, and people were like, I'm making this much in crypto. I'm making this much in crypto, and they asked her what she was doing. She's like, well, take people's money and I invest their money to get them blah 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 returns. And a lot of those crypto investors became real estate investors. She talked to her Uber driver one time, and it ended up like her Uber driver was a retired dude who had a lot of money in the bank, and was very interested and connected with, got her number, and ended up becoming an investor on the deal. So like, there's opportunities everywhere, and if you just again like just to kind of close it out, and I'll pass it to you if you want to close it as well too. It's like if there's opportunities everywhere, man. If you just talk to people, show a genuine interest in people, like you'll get your time to speak, man. Like people kind of put themselves, I think, way too high on a pedestal when like I don't know how many people are on the earth, but there are probably billions of people living on the earth. You know what I mean? So like just talk to people, man. Like God created everybody out here, man. You're not supposed to just be walking around your head down with your AirPods in, listening to Taylor Swift or whatever y'all listen to. It's all about human connection, talking to people, man, and just I don't know, being a good human being and a good person, man. And you talk to people, like you will meet folks who can help you go through this life together, and you can help. There's a mutual benefit. In things such as these, but that's all I got, Kev. Before I close it out, let me pass it to you, man. If you have anything you want to close it out with, man. But I think it's a solid
Nah, yeah, man, for sure. I mean, I would think just to our folks that's out there listening and checking us out, man. I mean, just show a solid interest of building that relationship. It's knowing what they do, knowing what they like, what they don't like. You know what I mean? And then
like Chief
ultimately,
Keef says, I don't
yeah.
like.
Eventually it's going to come back to you. You know what I mean? And they're going to ask you what you're doing, and maybe they may be a good fit for you, maybe
Yep.
not. But the more no's you get, the closer you're going to get to your yeses. So don't limit yourself. Put yourself out there and know that you're not asking to borrow money, but you're bringing an opportunity.
Yep. Hey, man. Hope this was valuable to some of y'all out there. I think it was valuable. I really enjoyed it, man. But yeah, this is episode 32 of the Assets Over Money podcast, man. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for episode 33. Peace out.
Later.